I've always had this strange little hobby. Some people collect stamps, others spend weekends at flea markets.
Me?
I used to drive around the suburbs of New Jersey in my beat-up SUV, picking up the things people left on the curb. Chairs, lamps, mirrors. One person's trash, another's treasure. It was my thrill, like hunting for secrets in plain sight. One evening after work, I was cruising through a quiet neighborhood. That's when I saw it. An antique rocking chair. It wasn't like the usual junk. This thing was gorgeous. Dark, polished wood, the kind of craftsmanship you don't see anymore. Someone had set it out on the sidewalk with a cardboard sign taped to it. Free. I pulled over immediately. As I leaned in to inspect it, I noticed the seat was worn, almost indented, as if someone had spent years rocking there, night after night. I ran my hand along the armrest. It felt warm, almost too warm for something that had been sitting outside on a cool evening. But I told myself I was imagining it. I brought it home and placed it in the corner of my living room, proud of my find. That night, I couldn't sleep. From the bedroom upstairs, I swore I heard a faint creaking, the rhythmic kind, like wood rocking back and forth. I told myself it was the pipes. Houses make noises. The second night, though, I woke up at 3 a.m. sharp. My dog, Max, was growling at the living room. His fur stood on end, his teeth bared. When I crept downstairs, my heart pounding, I froze. The chair was moving, slowly, back and forth. No wind, no draft, just steady, deliberate rocking. I wanted to throw it out right then, but something in me hesitated. I don't know if it was pride or just plain stupidity, but I convinced myself I could handle it. Then came the dreams. Every night, I saw the same woman, gray hair hanging loose, her hollow eyes fixed on me. She sat in that very chair, knitting something endless with black yarn. And she whispered my name. I always woke drenched in sweat, her whisper still echoing in my ears. The final straw happened last week. I came home late, turned on the lights, and saw a figure sitting in the chair. For one horrible moment, I thought it was a real person, a woman. Her head was bent, her hands twitching in her lap. But when I blinked, the chair was empty. That night, the creaking didn't stop. It went on for hours, like someone was rocking furiously, angrily. I locked myself in my bedroom, but the noise grew louder, closer, until it sounded like the chair was just outside my door. I don't know why I didn't run. Maybe I was paralyzed by fear. Maybe she wanted me there. By morning, the chair was back in the corner, perfectly still. It's still there now. I haven't touched it. I haven't slept in days. And sometimes, I swear I see it moving just out of the corner of my eye. I couldn't keep living like that, half asleep, waiting for the sound of creaking wood. So one morning, after another sleepless night, I decided to dig into where the chair had come from. I still had the street name from where I'd picked it up. I drove back there and knocked on the door of the house. An older man answered, his eyes immediately flicking to my car, as if he recognized it. When I asked about the chair, his face went pale. "You took it," he whispered. "You actually took it?" He told me the chair had belonged to his mother. She'd been unstable, he said, and spent most of her last year sitting in that chair, knitting and muttering prayers in some language he didn't understand. When she died, she wasn't buried properly. The family couldn't afford the rites she wanted. The chair had been hers from girlhood, a family heirloom, and she refused to leave it even at the end. She died in it. "Throw it out," he said. "Or burn it. It doesn't like new owners." I left, shaken but not sure what to believe. Burning it felt wrong, like an invitation for something worse. So that night, I tried to talk to it. At 2:59 a.m., the creaking began again. I sat up in bed, heart hammering. I whispered, "What do you want?" The rocking stopped. Then, from downstairs, a sound like knitting needles clattering to the floor. I crept down, phone light trembling in my hand. The chair was empty, but something lay across it. A long, black strand of yarn, twisted into a noose-like loop. And then I saw her reflection, not in the window, but in the mirror opposite the chair. She was standing behind me, gaunt, her fingers reaching out, her lips moving silently. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. That night, she came closer. Every time I blinked, she was nearer. First across the room, then at the foot of my stairs, then outside my bedroom door. I think she wants me to sit in the chair. Sometimes I feel a pull, like an invisible hand pressing me down toward it. My legs get heavy when I walk by. I know, deep down, that if I sit, something irreversible will happen. Last night, I barricaded the chair in the basement. But even now, upstairs, I can hear it. Not rocking. Knocking. Like it's trying to climb back up. I knew if I stayed another night in that house, I'd end up in the chair. Maybe even die in it like she had. By the time the sun came up, my decision was made. I had to get rid of it. I dragged the chair out of the basement, its weight far heavier than it had any right to be, like something was sitting in it. With every step, the wood groaned and creaked under my hands, as if it was alive. My dog refused to come near me. I loaded it into the back of my SUV. The moment I shut the trunk, the car's interior filled with the smell of rotting flowers, sweet and sick at the same time. My phone screen flickered, then went black. I drove without thinking, just heading north until the suburbs thinned and the woods began. The further I went, the more I felt her presence fading. But she was still there, in the rearview mirror, a blur of gray hair and hollow eyes. Finally, I found a clearing by the river. I yanked the chair out, my hands shaking, and doused it with lighter fluid from an old camping kit. The instant the match touched the wood, the fire leapt higher than it should have, white-hot and shrieking. For a second, just a second, I heard her voice clearly, not a whisper but a scream. "Don't leave me here." Then she was gone. The fire collapsed into embers, and all that was left was ash. When I drove away, the smell vanished. The air felt light for the first time in weeks. That night, my house was silent. I slept a full 8 hours without dreaming. But here's the thing. This morning, when I came downstairs, there was a single strand of black yarn lying on the floor in the corner.
Like, subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss a scare.